Okay, fantastic. Thanks for joining us. This is the IamMLUV Google Hangout that we have every Sunday. Um, and we have as well, I'm Monica. I am MLove Blair. And I am in the Washington, D.C. area. Um, I am an entrepreneur. I'm the sixth son, single. Retired from my job of 25 years and am now fully self-employed. So we host these Google Hangouts every Sunday at noon Eastern Standard Time. And the goal of the Google Hangout, Sandra, I think we're still hearing a little echo because I'm seeing the screen switch back and forth and I hear my echo. So if there's any kind of way that you can kind of help with that echo. Marco, do you hear the echo as well?
Say it again.
Do you hear an echo?
Yeah, I hear echo.
Yeah. Sandra, you got an echo kicking in. But as I was mentioning, we host these Google Hangouts every week, um, and the goal is to just share what we know with others, and mastermind, goal setting, and just business building from the beginning for people that are starting their business to those that are experienced, being able to share and grow with us. We're still hearing that echo. I'm not sure if you can do anything. Sandra, can you hear me?
I can hear you. I mean,
Fantastic. Yeah, I'm not sure what you did before. The echo disappeared, but now it's back. We also have Sandra Rosario and Marco McNeil here. They are also business partners of mine and join in on the weekly mastermind to share and plan. We have several businesses that we're involved in as well. And so we start off our Sundays with a general mastermind session with all that want to join. And then we also have our own mastermind session that we actually get into more detail and actually into more planning and accountability for the goals that are set for us. So I'm going to let Marco speak for a minute, just introduce himself and tell you a little bit about himself.
I'm Marco from DC area. Graduated last school year 2014 with a business management degree, bachelor's. Um, Currently doing some entrepreneur business work with my current team and so on now, and always looking to earn some extra income with different streams of income, things like that.
Okay.
It's still kind of echoing. I can't really hear you a little bit.
Exactly. Andrew, I think you're going to have to mute yourself when you're not speaking because the echo is just causing havoc. It's we can't hear anything and the screen is just all over the place. Yeah. But actually, I was just getting ready to introduce you so that you could actually tell a little bit about yourself.
okay, well, I'm Sandra Rosario. I'm actually what you call a multipreneur because I have several businesses that I'm doing, I've done simultaneously. I'm in for everything that has to do with multiple streams of income and residual income. That's my whole thing on being in business, just doing something once and getting paid for it every day till the rest of my life and passing it on to my son. I am a son. I am a mother of one son who's 14 years old. This is first year in high school, and he's actually an athlete. Basically a hopeful Olympian for maybe 2020 or 2024 in the Taekwondo arena. So we're working hard on him, with him and everything. So a lot of my schedule, and that's one of the reasons why I became an entrepreneur or a multipreneur, just to have, just to give him, his goal. He has goals and dreams, and fortunately, those goals and dreams do take money.
Awesome.
So back to you, Monica.
Thank you. So yes, we want to be able to share, answer questions, and make this interactive. This is a new hangout that we have been working on getting started, and so we have been experiencing a bit of technical problems. I'm hoping that we have pretty much cleared most of it that has been causing us roadblocks, and people will be able to get in and eventually start participating, asking questions, and we're able to answer some questions. We have a topic today that we wanted to speak on, and that topic is on mindset, and the mindset of a person that is starting a business, or even in business from the beginning, or even an experienced person that is in business. The clarity of your mindset is one of the things that I find a lot of people overlook. They generally go straight for that product, whatever business venture that they're involved in, and they skip over some of the general things that are very important in being successful in business. And mindset is one of them. And mindset is one of my major passions. In mindset, you actually develop a clarity in what you're trying to accomplish. You're able to set your goals, and you're able to take action even in stressful circumstances. So I'm actually taking some bullet points out of a book that I have read, The 1 Minute Millionaire. When I first started myself in business and making that transition into becoming a self-employed entrepreneur that relies completely on my own wherewithal to be successful, not having the safety net of paycheck from a job. One of my mentors recommended this book. So this is a pretty good book to read. It's The 1 Minute Millionaire. It's by Mark Victor Hansen and Robert G. Allen. And the book is written in a unique fashion, whereas it's actually two books in one. On the left side, it's telling a story. No, I'm sorry. On the right side, it's telling a story of a person, a woman who's gotten herself in a tight situation and needs to resolve it really quick, which a lot of people find themselves in, if it's leaving a job or changing careers or running into challenges. You find the urgency of being able to make that change. And once again, it really relies on your mindset and being able to see the opportunities around you. And then on the left side, it really goes into the lessons that are being learned as she's making her travel in the book. So one of the things it really speaks about is keeping yourself balanced in your body, your brain, your being, your timing, the people around you, and your money. All of those things need to be looked at and kept balanced. So, of course, we know about our physical health. Without your physical wherewithal to be able to be the most effective, it can affect everything from your focus, your mobility, and your ability to just be as successful in whatever your endeavors are. Because it detracts from your attention, it detracts from your availability. And the next thing is your brain. The books that you read, and the things that fill your brain is actually what is going to be the fuel. So just hosting these masterminds every Sunday, I find is a great anchor in being able to get through the day, and or not just get through the day, but get through the week. From what it actually feeds me, I speak with so many different people with different levels of experience, that it gives me information all the time, things that you think you know. I just last week sat down with someone who was educating me on her process of goal setting, and I'll be sharing that in the future. And Sandra has actually shared with you a presentation on goal setting. And so there'll be more that will be shared in the future on that topic itself. But just kind of going over the bullet points. Um, Another thing is time. Your goals and keeping them organized. The time that you have available is actually the most important resource to use to be the most successful in whatever you're taking on. The people you socialize with, we basically are the common denomination of those that we surround ourselves with. So if we have people that have no goals and no aspirations, you'll find that that becomes draining on you while you're trying to move forward in whatever you're doing. And lastly, financial goals and putting that into action. I'm going to let um, someone else speak. I don't want to be the only one speaking. We have quite a bit of things to share. Does anybody else have anything to share on that?
I do, on mindset. Another thing with mindset, I mean, a lot of people, when you go into business, especially if you're new, I mean, you're always told, oh, you have to change your mindset. You have to change your mindset. Most people, it took me a while to figure out what mindset was anyway, and, um, you know, it was actually put perfectly to me where it says that, that little voice in your head, the one that says you can't do things or is always talking to you and chatting away, like, and you can't shut them up. That's your mindset. And like she says, read books. I mean, what you put in is how it's going to change your mindset. I mean, your voice in your head is changeable, and you could easily change it. Just most people just don't think about it. Instead of saying certain things, they say it a different way. I mean, um, you have to fix that mindset, or you have to fix the way that you talk to yourself. Instead of saying, "Oh, I can't do this," well, I'm not sure I could do this, or I think I'm going to fail. Instead, just say, well, most successful people that I know have failed, and they still get to their goal. So those are the things that I had to actually learn when it came to changing my mindset and going into business for myself, because I've never done it before. And it could be scary because, if you've never done it, nobody in your family's ever done it, and now you say you're going to do it, it's kind of, you always have those, I mean, the number one naysayer, they always say get away from naysayers, but the number one naysayer you could fix or you could control is your own. That's one of the things. You could control your own mindset. You can control that naysayer inside of you. So yeah, I said go ahead and read different books. Or it does change the way you speak to yourself. It's very easily. I mean, in a snap of your fingers, you could say it a different way. And it's something that obviously you work at it every day because it does take concentration and say, okay, I'm not going to say this again. After a while, it just becomes natural because of everything, all the all the positivity that you have actually put into your brain and your mind.
Very true.
Yeah.
Very true.
Um, I want to piggyback off what Sandra said about just changing your mindset. Like I didn't really understand what it really meant to change your mindset, and I just give you an example of how pretty much I can give you an example how I know when I changed my mindset of what I wanted to do. Just growing up, everybody just know work, 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 go to work. You had to get a job. If you don't go to college, you're not going to get a good job, or you're not going to get where you want to be in life, type of things. So when I recently had a whole mindset change, I just discovered that it's different routes and different ways you can do things without going to college. And if you just change your mindset and just find out what else is out there, you'll find. I realized that you don't have to go to college. I mean, I'm not biased on college. I'm saying don't go to college. It's other things that people don't know about. Their whole mindset is stuck on go to college. If you don't, you're gonna fail in life. And most successful people don't even go to college, or they drop out of college because you can learn way more things. I'm not saying you can, but it's different ways to learn in college. And just my whole mindset change on that is I just learned a lot of things just with this one mindset change just off that thing. So
That's very true. That's very true. Um, I guess in kind of going back, and I noticed that Kevin joined us, so I want to welcome you, Kevin. I'm not sure if you have any ability to speak, but this is an open forum, so if you do, feel free to jump in and join in on the conversation. This is very much meant to be an interactive session, and I do see that he just typed in no mic. Well, I do welcome you at least, and I'm hoping that, with some feedback, at least in typing, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. If you have something to share, type it in, and one of us can kind of repeat it or piggyback on what you said. But in just kind of going back in the very beginning of just kind of the four things that are bullet points in um, in going forward in mindset and being successful, the first thing is to write it down. You have a idea, a goal, something that you want to achieve. I know that when I would study for school and tests and whatnot, and I would have my kids study, I would always have them write it down. When people are explaining things to me, a lot of times I'll take pen to paper and I'll rewrite what you have said to me, because that translates into your mind and absorbs in a better fashion. It's a different way to absorb information. And people learn in different fashions. So it's not just in lecture or conversation that people absorb. And I know for myself, the best way for me to absorb information, even if you're speaking directly to me face to face, if it's vital, important information, I write it down. It's another form for me to study. It's another way for me to absorb the information. And it's something to reference in the future. So when you're in a lecture type of situation, or you're just, taking in information, to take those notes offers that dual fashion of absorbing information if you're a visual person, and a reference point. And everyone takes notes in a different way. You tend to go back on your notes, and sometimes if a person is speaking a lot, you will find you doodle all over the paper, but when you go back to read it, your mind remembers exactly what that person was saying. When you wrote this upside down on the paper, it was because, oops, I was about to get up and go to the bathroom. The person said this, and it was so urgent, and they were talking about this, and I was writing it down. And you find that you've absorbed that information. You reference, your mind flashes back to that moment when you wrote it down, and it sticks with you a little bit better. I guess, and just kind of isolating just that, and just speaking on that, do you guys have anything that you want to add on just writing it down? I think both of you guys are muted. I see a mute on Marco, and I see a mute on Sandra.
No, you hear me now?
I can.
Okay. Well, yeah, it's the same. I mean, I write things down. You could, like I said, you could talk to me, you could say everything. I'm not going to remember. I think I need another SD card with higher, bytes or something, because after all these years, I don't think I can stick everything in my head anymore. So, and yes, I always like to go back to my notes and, like, I know I read this and I think I said this. So to me, I write, if I say it, this is how I learn. If I have to learn something, I usually say it, I write it, read it, it sticks. The same thing when somebody tells me their name, I have to say their name. Oh, hello, Monica. Oh, my name is Monica. I just don't say hello. I say hello, Monica, because that to me is like, okay, now it's in my brain. I won't forget that person's name anymore.
That is so true. I have to piggyback on that now. Now, Kevin made a point. I'm gonna elaborate on that, but that is something that I find people do, and I'm weak at it. And I know that I forget people's names. I can remember your face, but you could be walking down the street, and I'm like, I know you, but I can't remember your name. And just with what you said, if you're speaking to somebody and you finish that conversation by saying Sandra, and then you're talking to that person, and every time you talk to them, you interject their name. By the time you finish that conversation, you're going to remember their name. But Kevin made a good point too, and that is to use to-do lists. And that is critical. That's a way of planning and mapping out your day. And I find that I'm very successful. I have a little weakness, even though we're speaking about it, in being consistent in writing my goals down and planning out my day. And it's very good to do that the night before. It's been suggested to me to sit down the night before, write down my plan, and map out my day. And I will say that when I have written things down and the day gets busy between text messaging, the phone ringing, messages on Facebook, and everything happening, because sometimes it's like it's quiet and then all of a sudden the storm and everything is happening at the same time, and you're trying to stay on top of everything and respond to this email. Just like Sandra had mentioned before, she's a multipreneur. I'm a multipreneur as well. So throughout the day, I'm working on different projects in different companies, and they overlap. So right this second I'm working on this, and then next second I'm in this email and I'm responding to this. But when I have it written down and I go through my checklist, in one of my companies I keep a checklist of the calls, and I have a system and a process that I follow when the calls come in, and I use different color markers in that time frame. So I'm logging you first, and then I have different things that actually tells me what is the next action I have taken. So if something takes me off track and now I have to respond to this or answer this call, when I come back, I'll use that checklist and I'll see exactly how far I have gotten, and this is where I left off, and I pick up seamlessly. And really, it has helped, because it has been some very chaotic times that if I didn't have it, I wouldn't know what I did 5 minutes ago. So that is a good suggestion as far as the checklist. Marco, do you have anything that you want to add as well?
Um, Not necessarily, because I know I'm bad with writing things down. I'm still trying to get better at that, because I always try to remember things, but I'm just bad with writing things down in general. So
Yeah, I think that comes in habit. And they say it takes about 30 days to develop a new habit. So if you just focus on just the fact that you know that this is something you're bad at, and just try to remember, set your goal if you want to improve that, to just make it a consistent thing that you try to do, and see if that happens in 30 days, if you find that it becomes much easier for you to remember to do it.
mm,
I have seen that for me as I was transitioning from being a employee to being a business owner and getting my days organized. When I first started, I would ask people, how do I set my office up? How many file cabinets do I need? What kind of folders should I be labeling? Which way do I had no clue on what to do when I got started. And I found that the way I organized my office was the reverse. Instead of trying to create the office, I started working. And then as I was working, I found what I was doing regularly. And I just started organizing my office based on the way I was working and what I needed access to. And so, several years later, I've got a functional office. It probably needs some more organization, but at least it's better than it was with nothing to start off with. So that's some good points on writing it down. The next thing I wanted to speak about is read it. And that's another thing that I will say and make a point about, is that I think it's a fallacy for people to think that they just need to go to school. Whether it's completing high school or completing college, and then once they've reached that level of success in reaching that certificate or reaching that degree, they don't feel that they need any more education. They know it all, no one can tell them anything, and then that begins the process of a closed mind. So when new information comes, when new processes come, they're not open, they're not flexible, because they've shut it down. They haven't exercised that part of their life, and when they find that they have to go back to restudy or re-educate themselves, be it for their business or their job advancement, then they have problems in studying, and they have problems in just the general things that are needed, um, because they haven't used that part of their life. But it's not something that you end. And if you look back on history, some of the most successful people have actually even reached their success later in their life. But in that time, they've continued to grow. And some people have actually recreated themselves. And in order to recreate yourself, you've got to have some knowledge base on whatever you're recreating yourself to, which takes studying. So I would say that's kind of my 2 cents on read it and learning. Anybody else have anything to add to that?
mm, as as far as you said school, were you
Just,
referring to
just about
school or
reading,
learning?
or yeah, read it is kind of the topic on that in reading and studying and learning.
Oh, reading. Oh, um, I mean, yeah, I could pretty much based off what I was saying about the mindset. People, I guess a lot of people do feel like when they finish with school after they graduate, that it's really nothing else to learn. That's pretty much the ultimate thing that they're trying to reach is graduate from college. That's the pretty much the goal that's in their mind from what they understand they should do, and they feel like it's really not a lot for them to learn after they get their job. And then you try to teach them something new and try to tell them something better. They always resort back to school and just what they learned in school and just pretty much try to say that don't work or I don't understand what you're saying because they don't want to know what is more out there or they want to try to learn that is more out there than what school has taught them pretty much.
Yep. I was kind of glancing in the book, and it made a suggestion that I thought was pretty good. Just as I had mentioned, as far as repetition and making a habit and trying to develop new habits and changing just in reading and writing. It says it, affirmations, which most people know what affirmations are, is when you're saying positive things to yourself. So when you have a goal, say for instance, you might want to write your goal down and write it on a 3 by 5 card, is what it suggested. And so, say for instance, your goal might be to earn $100,000 in a year and take plenty of time off. What you might write is, I'm so happy and grateful that I am earning $400 per day, working only 250 days this year. And that really kind of sets a real defined goal. It's not just that you are wanting to obtain a wealth or get some free time. That's kind of vague. But to be more specific, then that starts to train your mind into what you're trying to achieve. So you can even be more specific in as it speaks about 250 days per year. You might want to just isolate it down to a week and say, I only want to work 20 hours per week. I'm going to work 20 hours per week, and I'm going to earn however much, $5,000 per week. And then with you setting that goal, then the next thing is your mind is thinking, how do I achieve it? You've already owned it. Just as if you were playing basketball on the basketball court and shooting that ball. When you're shooting that ball, you don't just arbitrarily just shoot in the air and kind of hope and pray that it falls in the hoop. You kind of have a mental plan. So when you release that ball, generally with that look on your face, you've already claimed it. You're just waiting for it to happen. So kind of that same way, whatever your goals are, if you are releasing it in a fashion that you're claiming it, you're saying it to yourself. You're not saying, well, I hope I can get to work 20 hours per week one day before I leave. You're really speaking out negativity. You've already had that negative. It's obvious that you're having a negative conversation in your head, and then you're going to live that negativity. But what you actually say out of your mouth does have power. Sandra, did you want to add anything to just that? Or Kevin, if you want to type anything that you might want to add to just that, writing it and reading it.
Well, just to say that your goals and your mindset go hand in hand. Your goals will actually, fuel your mindset. When you write your goals down, and obviously remember goals do have to have a time frame on it. You just don't say, I want to be a millionaire. Okay, by when? you know? That kind of gets you going, like, okay, I have to act to get to that. Instead of just saying, oh, I want this, you want this by when? You want this how? Or do you want, to make this much amount of money when? That's one of the things that I know. The mindset, goals, they go hand in hand, and it's your goals that keep fueling your mindset.
Yep, very true, very true. Another thing is saying it, is basically claiming it. We encourage kids when they're growing up. You ask them, what do they want to be when they grow up? We're asking them to say it. They're putting words out there. Words have power. The words that we put out there about other people carry power, and karma is a very strong thing. So you really want to be selective about what you say, and if you're having negative thoughts, that's something that you want to go within yourself and actually analyze and pay attention to, because it really does channel you in the direction you are in life. I hear a lot of people that I've come across, and that's all they do is speak negativity. For one thing, it affects those that you're around, because I know for me, I don't want too many negative people around me. It really is too heavy for a load for me to carry, to be in the presence of people that live and think in a negative fashion, because that's a heavy weight that I feel. Your words have power upon me. So even though you're not speaking it on me or wishing it on me, but you're going around moping, oh, it's going to rain today, and it's rained for the last 10 days. I know it's going to rain for the next 10 days. There's no need to plan anything but the fact that it's going to rain. So why am I going to plan to go to the beach? It's going to rain. So you're already set for the rain. You've already made plans that it's not going to work out. There's no need to do anything because you've already designed your life around the failure of not being able to get on the beach and enjoy the sun because it's going to rain. So your words do have power. And so you want to say and speak into your life the things that you want to be successful on. Those goals that you have, you want to speak it as if they already exist. When I first started out in real estate as an investor, it took me a while to make that adjustment. So when I would introduce myself to people, I would tell them, that I'm a newbie. I've just started out in investing. I've been doing it for this period of time, but I'm a newbie. But other people looked at me in much more high regards because I do have a high level of motivation. I have a high level of focus, and I do plan generally what I'm trying to do, and I'm a go-getter. People know me that way. But when I would introduce myself, I was downgrading myself because I felt that I needed to have this level of experience already, and before I reach this level of experience, then therefore I am nothing but. But that is what I was claiming. Over time, in understanding how words have power, I've taken ownership of it because that is what I am from day one. I made that decision, and a doctor doesn't come out and introduce themselves and say, well, I'm a doctor and I am interning and I have done 5 surgeries and my mentor will be watching me when I do this surgery on you. So let's go in there and hope that I don't leave anything sewn up in your body because I'm new. That's not the way they introduce themselves. I'm your doctor, and I've been in practice for this period of time, and we are getting ready to do this surgery. It's going to be successful, and I have all the resources available for me if ever there is any problem. That's a different way to say the same thing. So I don't know if you guys want to add on to that as well, in speaking it and saying it. Does anybody have anything that you want to add?
I have I mean, just not. It's not necessarily with speaking it or saying it, but it does have something to do with negativity. So it's just an example about something happened recently. So I pretty much the whole day I don't really think negative a lot. So the whole day I was just thinking about things that I can do better to help my business and things like that. Like I was thinking positive about it, all the things that I can do to help it, better it, things like that. What's the next best thing I could do? And the next one, then somebody was speaking some negativity, just saying negative things. Then after I heard that, I stopped thinking about everything I was already thinking about positive towards my business and just started thinking about the negative things in the world that was going on. Like in DC, there's a lot of deaths going on. I just started thinking about random negative things and just completely stopped thinking about all the positive things that I was thinking about doing to help like my business. And that's when I really realized that negativity and positively talking and people you surround yourself with can really affect you.
That is very true. When I started out in investing and I was taking classes, my first training I went through was through Rich Dad Poor Dad, which most people know. I call it the Harvard of education. You could get that education other places, but it's probably one of the most expensive ways financially that you can go through training. And so when I first started out, I had a friend that was going with me, and she was committed to get started in investing in real estate. Um, and she, at the last minute, backed out, couldn't attend. Um, and I went on to the training. Well, then the next is this is an introduction. Do you want to go further? Sign up for classes. This is the cost. And so then the sticker shock of the classes came. And so I had always envisioned that I was going to become an investor with a partner, and we were going to ride off into the sunset together, being investment partners and conquering the world. And so I was looking for my partner. And I started calling around and reaching out to different people, including the friend who had supposedly gotten sick. And it was amazing because I got more crickets than I got anything. They didn't want to say they weren't going to do it, but the negativity was just felt through the phone. And I had a few people that actually felt that they had their eye on the ball enough that they could come to me and advise me on how I should proceed with my life and how this was a scam and how all of the negativity around. And I had to stop and evaluate myself because I was going down a road nobody else was going down. And you'll find that with whatever your endeavors are, when you're reaching higher goals, you're going to leave people behind. There's a quote that I like to share, and it says that when you're rising, then you'll find that people drop off because the altitude in the air is too thin for some people to be able to stay, or something of that nature for them to rise. They can't rise. The air is too thin for them. So you have to keep going, and you have to learn how to compartmentalize and box people in and out, so that you won't have the air kind of blown out of you trying to get to wherever you're trying to go, because this is your dream. It's not theirs. They can't see it sometimes. And a lot of times people don't see it until everybody gets on the boat. Once everybody's on the boat, oh, yeah, I see that now. I can see it because everybody's there. Yeah, let's all have a party because we can all see it. It's too late then. Everybody's on the boat. What is the newness of it? Everybody is exposed. They've already given their 2 cents. They've already used it up and everything else. When with opportunity, you have to have your mind in a fashion that you're able to see it before other people so that you can take advantage of it. That's what the opportunity is, something that is presented to you that not a lot of people are able to take advantage of. You're getting ahead of the boat. You're getting ahead of the ship. So I don't know, Sandra, did you want to kind of elaborate any more on that?
Well, I know you. Well, you said basically what I was going to say, so you kind of took my words out of my mouth. Thank you very much. But yeah, it's saying, it's reading, it's writing. You should see my room. I have little post-its all over the place. So when I wake up, I'm reading those things. I'm reading those quotes. I'm reading, one of my goals. It's always in my face. Because if I don't, I'm more like out of sight, out of mind. So if I want those goals, they have to be in my face.
Yep. You kind of touched on that last thing, and that's see it. And another thing that I like to do, and I would love to get some people together to participate on a group level. My first year from my JOB, as I was shifting my mindset and lining myself up in my new world, is a dream board. I created my very first dream board. I had tried to sit down before and create a dream board, but I didn't have a clue how to do it. I wasn't tapped into that creative side of my brain. So I would sit down and I would get magazines, and the magazines didn't have anything to do with what I was dreaming. And I was trying to figure out how to connect the two. So I sat down with another colleague at the time, and she had done dream boards before, and we sat around with some wine over her house, and we both worked on our dream board. She kind of educated me a little bit, so it made it much simpler. I was really making it very complicated. So you can use a combination of things when you're doing a dream board. You can just cut out words from magazines. You can draw words and write them down and use those. You can cut pictures out. You can draw pictures of things that you fantasize about and put all of that together. It's your dream board. You can put it together yourself. I have my first dream board still sitting up on my wall, and I knew that I was going to expand on it. And I was looking at it the other day, and I'm realizing just how vague my dream board is. I think that I have reached a certain level of success within that dream board. I know what I was meaning when I was putting some of those things down, but I actually think I'm either going to expand on that dream board, or I'm going to make another dream board to be more specific and more um, focused on what I'm trying to achieve. With me, I feel I'm a bit of a young person on the level of retired from her first job, and I have a long period of time to be active and engaged in this world. And so I'm looking to just kind of live off of my dreams. I have created a life that, as they say, you don't need a vacation for. I'm working, I'm integrating my lifestyle in a way that brings me joy. Um, and that dream board can help to keep me on track with where I'm going. It's like Sandra said, you wake up, you see it posted. My first accountant, well, I was over his house one time. Haven't seen him in years. So I went over there one day, social friend. We had established a friendship, and even though he had an office, I never had thought, and this before I became an entrepreneur, of just these kind of things we're speaking about. And in his house, he had the same thing. He had post-it notes to the umpteenth. I mean, this was his house, so it wasn't just in his bedroom. He had them in his living room. He had them in his dining room. He had them in his kitchen. He had them in the hallway. He had them in the bathroom. He had notes all over the place that had meaning to him. It looked like clutter to me. Like, you got 2 or 3 words. I can do it. Okay, you need to have that all over your house. But it worked. Obviously, it was what he needed to move forward. I don't know if he started his business in his home. He probably did. But by the time I met him, he had an office. He actually moved to a larger building. He took over a house on one of the main streets here in D.C. And so he's now building his business out to the next level. So, kind of just mentioning that. I don't know if anybody wants to add anything more. I see we're about, time is moving on, so I'm going to be wrapping it up. I don't want to hold anybody too long. Does anybody have anything more that they might want to add?
Not at the moment. No.
Okay. 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 And I see you haven't typed anything more, Kevin. So I'm assuming that you're just in listening mode, and I'm hoping that joining us, you find it was not a waste of your time. Want it to be as productive for everyone that joins, and we're looking to grow a good network of people that join us every week in Mastermind with more and more input. It allows us to grow and share what experiences we have. And if you have any questions or any topics, Kevin, that you would like us to speak about in the future, you're welcome to type that in now. But also, I do want to share with you that you can also stay in touch with us. You can reach me by email by emailing Monica at IamMLUV.com. And my website is IamMLUV.com. You can reach me by phone at 202-291-6588. And if you're in the local area, we'll be having our next live event on the 19th of this month. If you're interested, definitely reach out. It's a private business event, so it won't be advertised as far as location and whatnot, layered across the public, but we are inviting people that are interested. So definitely reach out if you're interested in meeting with us face to face. We'll be having more events and more activities as well in the future. So that's another reason why to get on our VIP list if you haven't already. And that also provides you exclusive um, access into our Google Hangouts on the website where you can see some of the previous Hangouts that we've had and other videos that we'll be sharing. So I'm going to also let Sandra, if you want to kind of share your contact information and your website and how to reach you, please do.
Yeah, you can actually reach me or email me at Deras, that's DERAS Enterprises at gmail.com. You can call me at 240-375-6419. And of course, my website is derasenterprises.com. And so I'm available either way, email or call me. So there's only a good way to call me is on my cell phone. So there.
Awesome. Fantastic. How about you, Marco? Do you want to share your contact information?
I'm always on Facebook, so you can add me on Facebook at Marco McNeil, MarcoMcNeal. Email is mdcmmcneil@gmail.com. And cell number, I'm always on the cell too, 202-570-0895.
Awesome. Fantastic. This was, I think, a pretty good session. Like I said, we're just getting started. So we kind of gotten through our major kinks that we had where we would sit down to start the hangout and then the computer would lock up and we couldn't do anything. And then we had a little bit of problems with people getting in. So I'm glad to see you, Kevin. You were able to join us, and I'm looking forward to other people being able to join us. And this is being recorded, so if you want, you can check back on the website and you'll be able to see the replay. Now, Kevin has also shared his Facebook link, so I will definitely reach out to you and then suggest between us in the group so that we all can stay in touch. I know that we are connected through one of my business Facebook pages. I will send you a connection request as well so that you can connect with me on my personal Facebook page, and I'm there more often than I am on the IamLUV Properties Facebook page so that you can stay in touch. And it's all about building relationships and finding ways that we can connect in the future and possibly, hopefully, do some business. So thanks for joining us, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Have a great day.